Wow. Just wow is all I can say, guys. After watching this final, just what an absolutely perfect way to end the season. Oh my lord. It was so unbelievably perfect that it's crazy. And let me just say, I told y'all this wasn't the end. I had so many people argue with me after last week when I was saying that I don't think this is going to be the final season, guys. I had so many people saying, no, I think this is it, man. I think this is the final. And then just today, they announced that there's another project in production. Now, to be fair, I don't know if this is a season 4 or a movie or something like that. They have not clarified, but they have said that there is another anime production in the works. I'm sure I've already have it on the screen for you guys by now. But I told y'all, I knew this wasn't going to be the end. There's no way. This series is too unbelievably popular for that. But anyway, let's get off my tangent and talk about this amazing finale we had today, guys. I'm super jazzed up, and like true me fashion, my moronic self watched the second half first. And I was thinking, oh man, I thought this was supposed to be an hour. Not realizing and forgetting that we had episode 11 last week. So I thought, oh, episode 13, that makes sense. I'll watch that first. Like a fucking idiot, man. I have seen both parts now, and it took a little longer for me to get this video out because it's a lot to take in and a lot to share with you guys. So let's literally just get right into this Finale of Kaguya-sama Season 3. Now, I'm going to combine both episodes into this video. So it might be a longer video. So just bear with me on that. So let's get into it. So our episode starts immediately where episode 11 ended, with Shirogane telling Kaguya that he's going to Stanford and that this is going to be his last year there. And you can just look at her right away and know how she feels. She, of course, is all smiles, saying, I'm so happy for you. I congratulate you on this. I'm proud of you for something like this. But you can immediately tell on her face that she's devastated. This is the absolute last thing she wanted. And even Shirogane knows that. Because she makes a quick little excuse to head out the room. And she goes and finds Hayasaka. And they start talking about this, you know? And she's putting on a good face. And she tells Hayasaka that, yeah, no matter what, I have to confess to him today. No matter what. If he's going away, this is my one chance to do this. No matter what. He's going to be gone, so I have to do this right now. And Hayasaka gives her a little game plan. You know, like, she's like, oh, I prepared for this. You know, I got a strategy that will knock his socks off. And they get over this. And Kaguya, she's trying to implement this, but it's all off, you know? It doesn't feel genuine. And Hayasaka constantly is telling her that, like, you have to express how you feel to him in your own words. And she starts naming off all the things she loves about Shirogane. And this is finally where all the emotion comes out. Where she's naming off all the good things, that he's always so attentive, he's always listening, he's always making her want to be a better person. And in this instance, she finally breaks down and says, how could I ask him not to do something that would completely help his life out? How could I tell him to stay? And this is where all the tears come out. And even Hayasaka's taken aback, like, I'm so sorry that I put you through that. And it was quite a sad scene, honestly. You know, she finally let her emotions out about how she really feels about the situation. So now they are on the hunt for Shirogane, so they can enact their plan that Hayasaka created, so Kaguya can confess. And they can't find him anywhere. The man has up and disappeared. So as they're looking for him, Kaguya actually notices Ishigami and Tsubami walking around. And she says she's really resentful of them right now because things seem to be going well. So we transition over to them, actually. And I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we got some Ishigami time in this. I know that's not what everyone wants. That's not even what I completely want. But I do want it. So I'm glad we got it. So we transition over to them. And they're having a nice conversation. Ishigami got her a coat and all that because it's cold out. And, he's working his clueless Casanova charms. It's working pretty well. And he starts explaining to her about cherry blossoms and all that. And then she realizes to herself, like, wow, I didn't know you liked flowers. And she has a little flashback, actually, of some other girls telling her really bad things about Ishigami, saying, oh, why? You got to be careful around this guy. Why would anyone like him? Look at all these bad rumors he has about him from his past. Who would ever like someone like that? And she just remembers that in that moment, she's like, actually, I talked to him, and he's really straightforward and thoughtful. And it's at this moment she starts realizing to herself, like, maybe I really didn't know him after all. And she tells him flat out to his face, like, hey, I can't respond to you right now, but I want to. I want to respond to you earnestly and honestly, but I don't know when I'll be able to do that. And I don't know if you'll be able to wait that long. And she asked him, like, how long are you willing to wait for my answer? And Ishigami, this moron, still doesn't understand what he did in the previous episodes. So he's thinking she's talking about the cherry blossoms, because she mentions, yeah, we'll have to come see them next time they're in bloom together. So he thinks she's talking about that. So this freaking moron says, oh, I'm willing to wait till March. She's like, wait a minute, that's like 3 months. How are you so patient with that? They're just on completely different wavelengths. And he's like, yeah, I'm willing to wait that long. And she's like, okay, fine. If you're okay with that, we'll do that. In the meantime, I'll spend that time getting to know you. And it's from here that we transition to the play that Tsubami's in, because she asked Ishigami to come watch it. And he's sitting in the back watching it like, wow, this is impressive. And he starts thinking to himself, like, wait a minute. This play is about an old folk tale that the cultural festival itself is based on, about giving hearts to people to express how you love them. And he starts realizing, like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If this play, which is about someone giving their heart to someone, is representative of the festival that's happening right now, didn't I give her a heart-shaped thing before and kind of confess? And he starts freaking out to himself like, oh, wait a minute. What? I just did something so unbelievably embarrassing. That would explain her reactions before. And he's just like, oh, what did I do? So it's here that we transition to the lighting of the bonfire. Because if you guys remember from our previous episodes, you realize that Kaguya, since she's in the archery club, has been tasked to start the ceremonial bonfire with a fire arrow. Kind of a cool concept, honestly. I wish my school would have done shit like that, but kind of a cool concept. And she's looking around, but she still can't find Shirogane. This man has gone completely AWOL. And everyone's looking at her like, oh, such unparalleled focus. How can she maintain it? While in her head, she's just freaking out and going through everything like, oh man, how could he not be here? How could he not be here for me during my moment? But oh, maybe I'll start hating him after this. Well, but I could never start hating him after this. It's just how it is. Just shit like that. And it's just really, really funny. And, she eventually lights it. And she goes to Hayasaka thinking to herself like, oh, this is so cruel of him. How could he do this? And then it's at this moment that we get our next calling card from the Phantom Thief that's going around school, saying how he's going to steal everyone's cultural festivals. And it's kind of cool, actually. He has a bunch of letters raining down from the sky saying that. And Chika, of course, seeing this, is instantly ready to go, like, oh, we gotta go! And she drags Kaguya along with her. To the rooftop of the school, actually, where they believe he is. But he's nowhere to be found. And it's in this moment that Chika starts piecing it together. Like, wait a minute. Something's not right here. She gets something completely different and thinks that, I need to go run off and do this. So she runs off on her own to go solve this, but Kaguya has a smile on her face in this instance, because Chika says some things that really make her think. And in this moment, she realizes what's really going on. And she starts breaking it down to Hayasaka, actually, once Chika's out of there, saying how, no, this is actually a test. If you look through all these different calling cards, and if you piece them together, this is a test from Shirogane to her specifically. This is a test to see how well that she really knows him as a person. So she figures that out, and she starts running through her memories of him. Like, if I know him, he's somewhere high up where he would want to look out for all the students, look over them all. He would want to be someone who would be closest to the stars, because he loves stars so much. He'd want to be as close to them as possible. And she realizes that he's on top of the clock tower, actually. And as they're heading up there, Hayasaka asks her, are you sure you're ready for this? Are you going to be alright? And Kaguya just looks back at her and says, I think I can handle myself in this situation. I need to do this alone. And Hayasaka says, okay. So Kaguya goes and tries to enact their plan, because her plan was to get some coffee as they look over the students at the bonfire and confess. So she's at the vending machine trying to put money in, and nothing's working. She can't get the coffee. She loses the heart-shaped pendant that she's had with her the whole time. We get this adorable little scene where she's looking around and she just can't find it. She lost it. So everything's going awry. Her plan is completely shot. And now we transition to Shirogane, who... I love how the narrator goes into detail about this and starts saying how, Shirogane is a very impassioned person. He can hide his embarrassment for about 24 hours, but that time is up. And he's up there starting to think like, what the hell am I wearing right now? This is super embarrassing. So both of them, at their limits of endurance, completely embarrassed and at their wits' end, finally meet together on top of the clock tower. And this is the moment we've been waiting for, guys. What an incredible moment. Alright, we'll get into this right now. So she's up there and she starts thinking to herself, like, I knew you were the Phantom Thief. And she's like, why would you go through something like this? Why would you go to such elaborate lengths for something like this? And he asks her, like, don't you know? Don't you already know? And he puts his coat around her and says, there's something I want to show you. And this is one of the best scenes throughout this whole season, in my opinion. They both start thinking to themselves, like, what is the reason I want this other person to confess to me? Why is it so important for that other person to confess to me specifically? Why do I go to all the lengths for that to happen? And so we're going to get into that. She starts thinking about herself and she says, my whole life I've been someone who's been jaded. I've had a jaded personality. I've always looked at people for how useful they could be to me and nothing more than that. Like, could I use this person? Is this person useful to me? And she's never felt any real attachment to anyone, only judged them by their worth. She considers herself an ugly, hateful person, and that she never thought that she ever deserved to be around someone like him. How she always thought that he was always nice to her because he's nice to everyone. And that she wants him to confess to her so she can finally realize to herself that she's someone special to him, not just because he's nice to everyone, but because she truly means something to him. Now, from Shirogane's perspective, he has always looked up to her tremendously. As we saw in our previous episode this season, we got to see the moment where he started to like her and really and truly started to think highly of her. And all this time has worked so hard, so he believed that he would be worthy enough to stand next to her. She's someone that he truly idolized and looked up to. And he's always felt like he was beneath her in terms of social standing, in terms of family standing and all that, in terms of money, in terms of influence. He's always felt inferior to her. So that's why he's constantly worked so hard these couple years to be a man worthy enough to stand next to her. And he always felt that if he asked her and told her how he felt, and she extended her hand to him, that he would never be worthy to stand by her side the rest of his life. He always felt that. So in his mind, she has to confess to him so that he knows 100% that they are on equal footing with each other and that they are equals. And hearing both of their perspectives is actually kind of crazy, because in this moment he shows her something special that he wanted, and we see his plan come to fruition. That giant ball that the Phantom Thief stole, that was on top of the snake. I forgot to mention that actually earlier, that when he sent out the calling cards, everyone realized the giant ball that was in the snake was missing. And his plan was, he sent it loose. He made the helium in it explode over the fire. And probably thousands and thousands of heart-shaped balloons were just flying through the air. And they had the absolute perfect view on top of the clock tower. And it was at this moment that he finally was able to express how he felt. Not with words, of course. We can't do that in this show. We can't just tell someone how they feel. And he, as he's letting all these balloons go, he looks at her and says, this is how I feel about you. And it's honestly a beautiful scene. And during this scene, he reveals how he's manipulated everyone around the scenes just so he could make this one moment completely special and worth it. How he made the Phantom Thief stuff literally just to distract Chika the whole time so she wouldn't interfere. How he purposely put Ishigami and Ino on the committee to make sure that this festival could even happen to begin with. How he made sure that Ino would buy a bunch of food stalls so that she wouldn't interfere. And how he pushed back Tsubami's play so that Ishigami would be there and completely out of the way. He reveals everything, how he planned all of this for this one perfect moment. And in this moment, he grabs a blue heart from the sky, a blue heart balloon, and she grabs a red one. And she starts laughing in this instance, like, and he's like, what's so funny? And she's literally looking like, that you would just do something like this. Why would you do something like this, you know? And he reveals that it's so that you can grant my one wish, Kaguya. And he reveals that he wants her to come to Stanford with him. And she's like, wait, what? And it's in this moment we reveals he planned even more out. He planned that, because you see, when he got his recommendation, he can actually get 2 recommendations from the chairman. So he used his second one on Kaguya so that she could be able to apply to Stanford as well, to get a letter of recommendation to Stanford. And his wish is for her to come with him. Basically him saying, I want to be with you forever. And she can't believe it. She's so shocked, like, wait, what? And she starts thinking to herself, like, wait a minute, there's so much that has to happen. Like, I have to try to get into this insanely hard to get into school. Like, oh, my father would never allow me to do anything like that, ever. I'd have to convince him. I'd have to, what do I say to my friends? But it's in this instance. And it's in this moment that she finally says how she really feels and says, yes, I'll go with you. And it's a great moment. And after that, she approaches him, because Shirogane said at the beginning of their conversation, like, oh, I guess you've caught the Phantom Thief. I guess I should have a reward for you, huh? And she calls back to that, like, so you said I get a reward for this, huh? She's like, I'm gonna hold you to that. And it's in this moment that they kiss. They actually kiss. And it's a great scene, guys. I don't think I'm really putting it into words just how great this whole episode really was. Just crazy. Wow. Just all the feelings, all the emotions from 3 seasons worth of content. Just all kind of coming out in one moment. And I thought they executed it perfectly. Now, we even get a little scene where everyone's enjoying the bonfire. And we see that Ino's not there because she's patrolling the grounds so that everyone can have a good time. And it's kind of sad. Even her friends sitting there like that, she always gets the short end of the stick. She always does this to herself. Like, she's the one that organized this and wanted this more than anyone else, yet she can't enjoy it. She always gets the short end of the stick. And we actually transition to her, and we see Ishigami actually approach her and give her a heart-shaped pendant, actually. Because he apparently found one on the floor. And she's completely confused, like, wait, what? What are you doing? And he brushes it off, saying, oh, don't lost and found items go to the committee? And she's like, oh, don't scare me like that. And it's in this moment that Ishigami does something really nice for her. You see, he recorded the entire event. So even though she's not with it, she can still watch it. And just to see her face brighten up like that is honestly really good. She, for once, gave him a heartfelt thank you, and he thanked her back. And as he's walking away, she actually takes out that pendant and gives a really brilliant smile, I got to admit. Which, just saying, guys, they're clearly doing something right there. That's all I'm saying. Like, I like Tsubami, but they're clearly doing something. That's all I'm saying. And as we transition back to Kaguya and Shirogane kissing, we get a really awesome, just, I guess you could say, flashback to all the scenes that have happened previously in the show. And it really feels like, how they're ending this episode really feels like the end, guys. But as I said at the beginning of the video, it's not. We have more stuff coming. We don't know what it is yet, but there's still more. So how they frame this is kind of weird. It's kind of sad, honestly. Just to see everything that these two have went through over the course of the show. But it's also beautiful at the same time. And we get to the aftermath of it, where we see both of them in their homes, and Shirogane's freaking the hell out. He's like, I can't keep my composure after that kiss. That kiss was ridiculously crazy. And he's literally freaking out like, I can't calm the hell down. And we transition to Kaguya and Hayasaka at home talking about this. And Hayasaka's freaking out like, oh, I need to know all these details. And Kaguya starts explaining it to her, and we find out she fucking tongue kissed him! Like, Jesus Christ! Hey, that's very aggressive. I'm a fan. And Sokka's just sitting there like, you idiot! You're not supposed to do that! But I find it hilarious. I think that's great. That's how it went. I think that's great. And then we get one final scene in the student council room at the end of our episode where Chika brought in a new game. She wants everyone to play it. And Kaguya and Shirogane are together, of course. And they said, I guess we gotta play. So we're gonna be playing against each other, right? And she's like, of course. And we pan down and we see that they're both holding hands. And we get the end. Like I said, they really framed this to be the final episode of the season, but with the announcement this morning, like, what? I don't know how to feel. Is it a season 4? Is it a movie? We don't know yet. That we do not know. We just know for a fact that we are getting more of an anime. We're getting an anime adaptation. We're getting another one. We just don't know what it is yet. So I'm excited for that. Look forward to that. And yeah, guys, like, how do you feel about this episode? These episodes, I should say. I wanted to make this video kind of shorter, but to talk about 2 episodes, like, there was a lot to put in. I felt like I might have skimmed over some important things, but I didn't want this video to be insanely long. But it turned out that way. So you guys let me know what you thought about this final. I thought it was great. I think this was the perfect way it should have happened. I can't think of anything better that could have ended this season. I forgot to mention that we ended with her, even though they both know how each other feel at this point, she still wants to make him confess. Even after all that happened, even though they know how they feel about each other at this point, it's confirmed. She still wants to make him say it. So we definitely have stuff for another season still. And I'll mention something. I've seen a lot of people go over, yo, the Christmas arc. The Christmas arc is crazy. We might get it. We definitely could get that. But anyway, let me guys know what you think about this just incredible series. Kaguya-sama has just been such a joy for these couple years. What did it come out in 2018 was the first season? It's just been such an absolute joy this entire time. Let me know how you guys feel about it. For now, though, we gotta say goodbye, love comedy. Until next time. Whether it be a movie or a new season, or if there's actually nothing and that was like a prank, which would be a very bad prank, by the way. It was still a blast. I still had a great time. So, until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day.